I'm going to bring the saddle out for this guy and get him ready. I like to do my groundwork with the saddle on. And this is for a couple reasons. The first is the saddle is a little bit of weight, and they need to be able to do all the groundwork with a little bit of weight for practice when we ride them. The second is if you have a colt, they need to just get used to wearing that saddle. And if they're going to start bucking or whatever, you're better off to be on the ground when they're bucking than to be riding them. So I like to have them saddled and even put the bit in their mouth when I ride them, when I do the groundwork. I like to saddle from the offside because it's easier. If you read the textbooks, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to always saddle from the left side and always lead from the left side and always get on from the left side. But that's just tradition. There's not necessarily a reason for it, aside from when we had cavalry horses, the riders would wear swords on their left hip because they were right-handed. So you couldn't get on from the right because of your sword. You couldn't lead from the right because of your sword. So that's the reason behind the tradition, but unless you have a sword, you can get on or saddle or lead your horse from either side, and it's going to be beneficial to your horse because you need to do things on both sides to keep them balanced. When I saddle my horse, I like to pull the mane out from underneath of where the pad's going to sit. And at first I put my saddle far forward because it's going to slip back into place. When you first saddle your horse up, you just want the cinch tight enough to keep the saddle on. This is going to help prevent them from becoming cinchy. Now I'm going to see if I can move him over so you can see. So I'm pressing in his belly with my fingertips, just like it was my leg. So I'm practicing riding him while he's tied up. Press and release. When you bend down to grab the cinch, there's two things the horse could do. The first is he could kick you with that leg at the face. The second, he could come around and bite you. So when I bend under, I'm kind of keeping an eye on his head. And this guy doesn't bite, but you never know. Maybe there's a bee there or something, and he manages to bite your butt instead of the bee. Either way, you got bit, so I kind of keep an eye on him, make sure that he's not going to bite me. And I also try not to do something like this, because I could really get kicked there. You know, my hat touches him in the flank, which we know he's sensitive, and then I get kicked in the face. So I'm just going to put this on the first hole just tight enough to keep the saddle on. And this is a English style girth. A cinch would be your Western style. The English style girths have the two buckles. A Western style cinch has the one buckle, or just a metal ring to loop your latigo through. So even though this has kind of a Western stirrup on it, it's got the English style girth on it. And because it's English style girth, I can cinch it up on both sides to keep it even.